Casey here. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you guys are doing great. I'm having a great morning so far, and I'm looking forward to giving you guys some updates on some things. And so we got a lot going on today, and so I really would like for everybody to make sure that you stick around for the whole show, because I got a lot of stuff to talk about that's going to be of a lot of value to you guys. So stick around. But first, I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me okay and that you can see everything, that you can see and hear me. Hey, Jonathan, good morning to you. It's great to see you today. All right, if you guys can hear me, just go ahead and chat in. I know there's a little bit of delay on the feed. It's a live feed, and so there's a little okay, we're great. We're good to go. Awesome. So here's what's going down today. The first thing is that I'm going to give you an update on all my trades. Okay, you guys are going to see everything that I've done, and it's going to be pretty interesting because some bad stuff happened, some good stuff happened, and so I'm going to be explaining how I respond to all of that stuff. And so I think it's going to be valuable to you. And I've learned some lessons, and you guys will learn some lessons. So that's some good things. And today is also the giveaway. It's a Wednesday giveaway. We're going to give away 3 months of my Forex Master Strategy Live, which is a lot of education, but it's also live training and coaching with our coaches that I've personally trained. The lead coach there is John Melly, and he's off the chart good, and you get to work with him directly for 3 months, and so that is valued at $600, and so you guys are going to love that. So I'm going to show you how to enter into that giveaway, and I'm going to talk about some trade updates, trade ideas, some other news and things going on in the markets that is really fascinating. So let's go ahead and jump right in. And the first thing I want to do is show you the disclaimer. And that I'm going to be mentioning this disclaimer all the time, and that is, don't ever underestimate the market. It's risky. It's crazy. If you don't know what you're doing, you could really get hurt. And people are getting hurt financially right now in the markets, and they always are. We want to you got to understand the risks going into the markets when you get started. So that's really important that you guys understand that. Don't ever risk according to, risk only what you can afford to lose, not your lunch money, and also analyze your own situation. And everything you see here is for educational purposes only. This is just for education and training. This is not any trade recommendation. So I want to make sure that you guys are fully aware of that, and that everybody has to own their own stuff. You got to own it. This is not the finger pointing game. I'm not going to blame anybody if I take a hit. I'm going to own up to it because I understand that anything can happen in the markets. All right, so that's it. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the trade updates. So I'm going to start with the currency stuff, and then we'll move on to the stock. So the currency was really interesting. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first trade. Let me know if you guys can see that. So here's what I had taken was the trade on the euro dollar. I took a long on the breakout right here, and I was up on this break about 47 pips. And if we take a look at it on a lower time frame, it's been a while now, so I'll have to pull back, but I ended up breaking out of this trade for about $60 in profit. So my goal was to make $2,100. So I can actually draw the line here. You can see what happened. I entered right here, and the price went up. You see that? It went up. Actually was up 64 pips at one point. Almost hit my take profit. It was actually only 12 pips away. And so I think one of the things I'm going to do next time is maybe tighten it a little bit earlier, but I did tighten it, and now it's looking like it might want to go down further, which I had said that it could do that because, we can't control stuff that's going on in the market. But here is what I think could happen. We have the MACD is crossing over here, and I think we could get some more downward move. This is still a really strong uptrend, but we have a trend line right here. So if this shelf breaks, we have some moves down here and down here. So that is something that we could be looking for its price to come down here, maybe down here, and then watch for a price action move. I'm not really interested in taking a short. It's 100 pips. 100 pips would probably be enough, but because I'm not watching this that closely, I'm mainly concerned with daily times. I will watch this during this show, but then after that, I'm not going to be watching it that much. And so I want to give it a more longer term outlook. Now, so that's what I'm going to be looking for on the euro dollar. I will update our spreadsheet here that we're tracking. And so I'm going to update the euro dollar, and I want to make sure I do all these live so you guys can see it, because this is the challenge. You can see it. So I ended up making $60 on that, and that was the euro dollar trade. Now I want to go back over the pound New Zealand trade, because that was a big disaster for me, and I'm going to go over it. So how many of you guys were watching me when I put the pending order on? And I said, if it broke a certain level, we're going to take the trade. Well, it actually never broke the level that I had put a pending order on, but it triggered the trade. And so I looked at it. I'm like, I'm not in this trade. And I found out later that I was. So let me show you if my charts will cooperate with me. There we go. Let me show you what happened. So here's my entry, and I'm going to zoom up on this. I put a pending order on this breakout of this level, all right? And what happened was it got me into the trade. And I looked at the high of the day. I went to a daily chart. My entry here was at 190.81 was my entry. And the high of the day was 190.70. I'm like, that's 10 pips off. That's 11 pips from my entry. How did I get triggered? Well, I sent a complaint to the broker because I said I never took that trade. Well, what happened was the spread widened on the open, and it triggered me based off of the ask price. Because see, this red line is the ask line. So even though the price never got up there, the ask got really wide. You can see, if you look over here, my current spread is 2.7 pips. Well, the spread widened out to 11 pips on the open, which it does that, and it got me into the trade. Well, the broker's response was that it was the ask price. And so I'm going to do some research now with some other brokers. I usually don't trade with pending orders. So that's the first issue. I was doing something that I don't normally do. I normally take all market orders, and I don't usually do pendings. It was special for this particular challenge. And so I was not used to that fact. With a market order, I don't have to worry about that. And so that's something that I'm going to keep in mind. So I ended up losing the trade, but let's take a look at this. It went down, took me right into my stop loss, took me out, and now it's actually where I said I was going to enter, because it crossed this move. We just crossed over here on the daily, on the MACD. It is still a downtrend, but it's reversing. It broke over this 50. It broke here. It held this level, and now we're getting a nice spike. The daily on the MACD starting to bump a little bit, and we crossed this trend line, right? So if I look at this trend line that I drew, it moved up pretty nice. The 4 hour is getting ready to go, and so I'm going to have to make the adjustment here. Yeah, I'm really sorry too, but the thing is, I still have $300 left, so I'm not totally out yet. It's gonna take, the process is gonna be longer. I always knew that this was a long shot anyways, right? I mentioned that on the front end. I said, if I lose the first trade, I'm out. And in currency trading, it's hard to really be accurate on the entries. It takes a lot of practice, and even once you practice a lot, there's still no guarantee. So I knew this going in. So it's not like I'm surprised. The thing that surprised me was the ask price entry. So that really threw me off. And in the past, that might have really messed me up mentally. Mentally might have messed me up, but I'm good now because I have two plans. Number one is I'm going to just use the 340 that I got left. Okay, if I lose that, then I'm out. But here's what my other plan is. I'm going to take some of my profit from my other account and roll it back in and try one more time and see if I can make that happen. Okay, so with that being said, this trade now, I like it a lot. So I think that with this MACD reversal, with this trend line break, with where we're at on the daily time frame, I think I'm going to go for this. So let's do our levels here, and but this time I'm going to do a market. But before I do that, let's do the spreadsheet just so you guys can see what's going on. So I'm going to do the pound New Zealand, and I'm going to write the whole thing down. And I know you're like, oh man, do I have to watch him write it? I got triggered falsely. Big learning lesson. I love keeping notes. I might even take a picture of it. I can even take pictures of it too. Watch this. And this is good for me to keep track of stuff. I have a photo cert thing that I get. It's free. It's called TechSmith. And I just take pictures. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to take a picture of this because I want to remember this. You know, take pictures of stuff that you want to remember. I don't trust my memory. I got so much going on. My life is kind of hectic at times. And so I don't trust my own memory. So I write stuff down, and I even tell other people like, hey, can you remember this for me? Because I forget stuff, right? And if you're anything like me, that just happens, right? So I'm going to actually write this down, take a picture of it, and be like, look, I didn't enter this trade. But still entered. So I'm actually going to talk to some other brokers too to make sure that because this might be foul play. I don't even know. I'm going to find out. I didn't enter, but still got the entry. Okay, so we're going to upload this. Okay, and then now I will add that into the spreadsheet, so I'll have it here. I'm just going to put a big picture in here. Big lesson is what I'm going to say. And you notice my spelling's really bad. I'm not a guy that gets held up on spelling or typos. I just don't sweat that. There's someone I was listening to, my good friend David Finberg. He does SEO for me on a company called Peaks Digital Marketing yesterday, and he said that the devil's in the details. And he's right. In trading, the devil's in the details, but I don't look at that as spelling. I just don't think that counts. But anyways. You got triggered falsely. The ask got me on the open when it widened. And so when you're dealing with this stuff, you can't really mess around. You don't want to mess around. So I learned that lesson. Okay. So then we'll put the result here. The result was minus 1,800, I believe. Minus 1,900. So that's a big hit, and so that's why, listen guys, this is why on the front end, I told everybody, this is educational purposes only. Don't think that you're just gonna follow me and become amazing. I'm sharing my experience and I'm doing it, but stuff happens, right? Stuff happens. So you've got to do your due diligence, and remember, this is educational purposes only. Minus 1997. 1997. All right, so negative $sign. There we go. All right, so now that actually takes my current balance down to about, takes my balance to 341. Okay, so now there's my balance. So I'm down. Okay, so that's that. That's Forex. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this trade again. I'm going to get revenge on this thing. And it's not revenge trading, because revenge trading is bad. Revenge trading is really bad. But I'm taking this off of a planned setup. It's breaking this trend line. We're moving in the moving averages. We have this in place. So I'm going to just do this. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to put my stop loss. How far down do I want it? I'm going to go with a pretty wide stop. And we're going to go up here for the target. And there we go. It should recalculate my level. Yep, it does recalculate. There we go. And there we have it. So I'm entering in this trade right now. And I'm not doing the pending order, just because I'm not going to totally bail on pending orders, but I got to remember about that spread thing. So I'm now long on this one. And I'm going to take another picture of it just so we can go back and look at it. And you guys can look at it too, because I give everybody access to that spreadsheet. So you guys all get access to the spreadsheet that we're doing here. And I'm going to upload this one, and I'm going to take a picture of it, and you guys can follow along. There we go. So what's the date? And why did I say the date was 9/22? It was 1/22. Why didn't anyone tell me I had the date wrong? Come on, guys. It's, you know, I work with my pastor at my church a lot, and I like to help him. I'm kind of like his assistant. And one of the things I like to do is, he's got a lot going on and he messes up with stuff. I always try to help him out, right? I'm like, hey man, don't forget, you got to do this, or hey, you're making this mistake, you know, just trying to avoid him, because he's got a lot going on, just trying to help him accomplish what he needs to accomplish. And so, you know, if you guys want to help me out, it would be much appreciated when I do silly stuff. Don't worry, I won't get mad at you. Went long on this setup, right? And so that's it. That's what I'm doing. You guys can watch it and learn as we go, and that's it. Okay, so that's the currency stuff. Now, what's going on? Okay, so that's that. Now let's update, and remember, guys, that there's going to be a giveaway right after this part. I'm going to do a giveaway. There's going to be a giveaway. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be right after I go over these trades. Now, it's really interesting that Chris is just talking about spelling. I don't really care about spelling that much, but the thing is, I'm actually a pretty good speller. I always used to get that's was one of my best subjects in school. It wasn't really that hard for me, whereas some people really had to work at it. Okay, yeah, I'm going to fix that. I will fix it. Thank you, Ben. I will fix it. So thank you. All right. So now we're going to go to the charts. All right. And this is we're going to go over some of the trades that I'm in. Well, the first trade I'm in here is Twitter. I think this was probably not the greatest of trades, because I was shorting this. I think it's going to go down to 40. I think it probably will drop, but my timing might have been off on it. It's an uptrend, and I don't usually like to do counter trend stuff. And so I did do a put on it. We got a nice drop here yesterday, so I'm hoping that it will break. But this trade I'm not super happy with. Let's go ahead and take a look at CRM. CRM is the other trade, and I still like this one. Remember, I got this one for 6 months. I bought a call. I bought a CRM call for 6 months, way out of the money, way up here. What I believe is going to happen is that it's going to eventually break this line. I don't know if it's going to come down here first and then break, but I believe it's going to break out of this. This is called a bull flag or bull channel. Right? And so when it breaks out of this, it's going to really take off. This is a great company. They're growing. It has almost filled the gap already. You can see that gap. It was really close to filling it. And it's Salesforce. They're they're a great company. They're growing. Their revenues are off the chart. They're really a nice company. And I just think that this is going to break. So that's my options trade. Because remember, we're doing this in 3 accounts. We're going to do it in a Forex account, we're doing it in a stock account, and we're doing it in options. So that was my options trade. And I did another options trade as well that I'm going to show you guys. It was a smaller one, but I did it because I really like the setup, and I'll show you that in a little bit. The other one is Fubo. And Fubo is doing pretty good. You can see that here's my entry right here at 34.38. And I should put the price of the entry. Oh, did I put the price in? I'm looking at my spreadsheet. No, I didn't, but it's on 34.38. Okay, so I got in at 34.38. We're currently trading at 43. So I'm up $10 a share on this one. My goal was to get it back up to the 62 mark, and I believe that if it does go up there, we could see this 62 to really take off. And I really like that opportunity here. The bullish price action here is really nice. You can see we broke this really key level at 34 or at 40 that I have right here. And right now the next level really is up here. So we're in a zone right here. This moving average could act as support as price drops down. I think that's a really good opportunity. And so as this continues to move, I'm going to be locking in a little bit of profit, right? Because right now, if you saw the headline of the thing, I'm up 8,000, but actually, as I'm looking at this, the calculation is showing $10,126.80 in profit. So I'm actually up 10,000 on it, which again, I took this trade on Friday, so it's Wednesday, and you know, making $10,000 in 3 days is not a bad trade, right? It's pretty good. I mean, can't complain about that. So I still think it's got a lot more room here, and I want to get it locked in. The other setups that I'm looking at right now, let's go ahead. So FNKO, this is another position I have, FNKO. This one is changed trend direction. You can see the price has reversed right here, and ever since then, they have been going up. Pull back, up, pull back, up, pull back, up, pull back, and we have a nice trend line. So yesterday, or to Monday, it pulled back right into this trend line. So guess what I did? I bought more. I bought more right here. And so the second half of this is in an upward position. And so I'm hoping that this breaks this 1345, and it's a really good setup. So let's tell you a little bit about this company. It's called Funko, right? And Funko, they sell toys, right? And me, as the boring adult person that I am, I look at these toys and I say, anyone, so if you have these toys, please know that I'm talking directly to you. I say anyone that would buy these toys is a total moron. I look at those things, I'm like, really? Seriously? Like, you're going to spend money on that? But I think differently than most people. I don't spend money on stuff like that, right? And it's like superhero stuff and Star Wars stuff and movie stuff or whatever. But people love those movies. But the thing is, it's a good thing that the whole world isn't like me, because I think it's a waste of money. But the rest of the world buys them like crazy. This company, FNKO, is about ready to do over $1 billion in sales selling those toys. You know what? Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up and just show you guys what this looks like, because it's nuts, right? But people in my office and stuff buy these and they put them on their desk, and like, these are adults. Like, these are adults buying this stuff, right? And I'm not a millennial, so I guess I don't get it. But the Star Wars Funko Pop, the Tiger Woods one, they've got this guy. I don't even know who he is, but they're really, really popular. And they're revenue, so if we go to Yahoo Finance, which I like to go to Yahoo Finance and look at revenue, their revenue is crazy. I mean, it's just insane. And so I thought for the value of this particular stock, look at this. In 2019, they did 800 million. When the 2020 revenues comes out, it's really gonna rock. I mean, look at the growth on this company. So for these guys, I think that there's a lot of opportunity here. And these Funko things they're still growing in popularity, and they do, they come out with limited edition ones. Their marketing on them is really good. And, my kids buy them. And so, if you want to get my kids something for Christmas, go buy them one of those. They're happy. And so I think it's a good deal. But mostly I don't look at that much. I look at the growth and I look at the chart. The chart really is the leading guide, and it's starting to build some buying power. We want to understand how the market works and how it moves, and it's controlled by buying and selling, right? And so when the selling pressure, there's accumulation happening here. Buyers are buying all these dips, and there's becoming a heavier base of buyers. And when the buyers start accumulating, then the market drops further and further down. It gets less of a drop. Why? Think about this. Why does the drop get less than the last drop? Because people see it, and they see it as an opportunity, and buying accumulation is happening. And that's really what drives the stock up, buyer accumulation. And so that's really what I'm looking at, is I can see the buying accumulation. It's been up above the 200 period moving average for quite some time. The stock fundamentals are good. I think the next earnings, so I'm holding this because I'm waiting, because I think the next earnings release, there's going to be some more news coming out, and I think that this thing's gonna bump. And so that's my whole strategy on this one. And so I have a pretty nice size investment on this. All right, now what we're gonna do now is, yeah, it's just new Beanie Babies, but this company is really got a good, yeah. So what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna talk about some more stuff here soon, but I want to do the giveaway. So let's go ahead. I want everybody to get an opportunity to do that. I've been talking for 30 minutes already, and I haven't even done that yet, and I know you guys want to do that. So let's do that first. The giveaway right here is the giveaway. Okay, so we're gonna go to my profile here, and there's a link, and we'll post that link in here. I'm gonna pin it to my profile so you guys can see it easier. So the link will be posted in the chat. Let me post it right now. I know we got some good stuff going on. So here it is. What you're gonna win is 3 months free of my training, and it's really good stuff. It's great. And so what I want you to do is really think this question out. And you can also do it on Facebook too. I've got the link on Facebook also. Let me paste. You can do it on either one, Facebook or Twitter, right? But I'm going to show you Twitter because that's my favorite. I'm almost never on Facebook. All right. So just really think this out. Like, what's your main motivation? Right, so I just wrote my motivation. So just write a really well thought out answer, and I am going to look at all of these, and at the end, I'm going to pick one. Okay, and so just really do your best on it. Let's take a look at the Facebook side of things. There's the link on Facebook. You can do it on Facebook or on Twitter, either one. Here's the Twitter one. Somebody might have already done one. Yeah, we already got one. This is a good one. my main reason is to become profitable and financially free through my skills because I love trading. That's a great answer. But just think it out, write it, and whoever comes up with my favorite answer, I'm going to pick the winner. So I really appreciate that. Okay, so now we're going to talk. We're transitioning here, and we're going to talk a little bit about something that's happening in the markets right now, about GameStop, right? We're going to talk about GameStop. So let's pull this down, and we're going to put GameStop in play. GME. Okay, so GameStop. Look at that. Look at how GameStop has gone from $2.57 to $352. So I'm going to have to give you guys a little bit of backstory with GameStop. And the GameStop situation it's a short squeeze, okay? And what that means is there was a lot of short sellers shorting this stock because the stock was pushed up artificially, all right? Because look, GameStop, they're not making enough money to do this. Look at, we could go back. Let's look at they were at 257, right? Everyone was saying GameStop, they're finished, they're done. Everybody's doing electronic gaming now. Who's going to go in and buy a physical copy? Okay. Hold on 1 second. I got to do something real quick. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I actually, hey, Donovan, please don't post spam comment chat in here. So I was just telling my assistant to make sure they block that. Don't click any spam links, guys, and don't come in here and spam. That's just rude. It's, if you want to build your service, build your own audience, don't hijack mine. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's not everybody can get an audience. All right, so GameStop, back to GameStop. Here's the situation. It's a decent company. I like GameStop. My kids go there. I go there to buy stuff for my kids. I think they're a good company. They had good cash positions. Their revenues are good. So good company. Actually, my dad told me about them a while ago. Said, look, you need to buy a GameStop. There's no way it's only worth $3. And he got me in a good trade on it. So here's the thing. All right. Short sellers came in when it started to get too high. Right? When it started to get up here, it started to build a massive short position. And it became a battle. So little history here and a lesson. If you sell a stock short, that means you're expecting it to go down. And if the price of the stock keeps going, you have to buy those shares back for a loss. And so it's a risky type of trading, and it can cause massive market movements. And that's what's happening is there's a massive battle between buyers and short sellers. And it started out with a few short sellers, and then it got higher, and then more short sellers, and then it got higher, and then more short sellers, and then massive hedge funds came in shorting, and then massive hedge funds came in buying. And so now you got these big battles of hedge funds buying and shorting, and it's causing the price to go crazy. And the shorts are getting crushed, right? So when you see a stock like this, there's a couple things that you really want to consider, okay? You want to say, first of all, do you want to mess with this? Because this thing is going to eventually crash and burn. I'm just telling you. It's going to go back to normal, right? But we don't know when. There were some people saying it could go up to $5,000. Now, and I'm going to get in and explain that. I want to talk about the whole thing, but I'm trying to give a little bit of background here for those of you guys that don't know how this works. So it could spike way up to 5,000 and then drop. And even if you did get the trade, the volatility could be so crazy, the volume so high that you might not even be able to get a good fill. You put a limit order in, it might not fill. You put a market order in, you're going to get it for who knows what. You might try to buy at 84 and the price jumps and gaps $200 and you're buying at $352. So this is not something you want to play with unless you really know what you're doing, okay? And I wouldn't do it with a lot of money either. Again, this is all educational purposes because this is a train wreck, right? There's a lot of people, the people that were in this at the beginning that are still holding, those people are going to make a lot of money if they can get out, right? And that's the question, if, right? Because this thing, I believe, will crash eventually because it's not real. This is all manipulation. This is all market enterprise stuff, right? And so I'm going to actually take it back a little bit and give you guys some history because this is not the first time this has happened. And I'm fascinated by this, and I read this a long time ago, but there was a guy in 1917, Clarence Sanders, okay? And he started a store called Piggly Wiggly, okay? Anyone ever heard of Piggly Wiggly? It was revolutionary at the time. It was a unicorn. It was a Tesla. It was a stock that was brand new. He revolutionized grocery stores, right? He figured out how to create the aisles and the checkout process, and he did everything, and it was so new and cool at the time, right? Well, what happened with Clarence is that a bunch of short sellers were trying to take his stock down. And Clarence was like, no, man, my stock is awesome. I'm not going to let these shorts put my stock down to the bottom. And so he started buying shares. He's like, those short guys aren't going to get the best of me. And he started buying. Well, then guess what happened? The shorts started to buy, or there was more shorts. And so then he kept buying and buying and buying. And he eventually borrowed $10 million. $10 million. And you like, oh, $10 million, that's chump change. Well, $10 million in those days was a lot of money because we're talking 1922. So Clarence borrowed $10 million and he bought up all the shorts. And he honestly, the price went up, and I don't remember the actual price, but it was like $150 a share. Back then it was a lot. And he was about ready to put all of those short sellers out of business. They were going to have to cover to him because he owned almost all the shares. This was before electronic trading. The shorts had to cover by Friday at 3 p.m., right? He had all the money. He had everything. But guess what happened? The Federal Reserve and the Wall Street, it was the New York Stock Exchange, stepped in and they said, wait, they don't have to cover by this time. They have to cover. We give them an extra week. And so all those short sellers, back then it was actual paper stock certificate. So the short sellers went on a mad spree finding certificates and buying them up. They would find people that had certificates, under their mattress. They would have stock certificates everywhere, in the basement. And they just grabbed all of the shorts. It gave them enough time to get it. So the New York Stock Exchange actually messed him up big time. And so by the time the week was up, they had enough shares to cover their shorts because they bought it at lower prices because the guy who had the shares in his mattress, he didn't know what was going on the New York Stock Exchange. He had no clue, right? And so Clarence ended up not cornering. They call that cornering the market, right? And Clarence ended up losing the battle versus the short sellers. And he ended up losing his entire business. He defaulted on his debts. He had to sell his company. And he spent all that work and effort creating this amazing company. And he ended up with nothing because some short sellers were messing with him in the market. And, if you read some of his history, he was actually really never ever to recover from that. He had to sell his house. And you can still find it today, his house. It was like a pink mansion that he built in Tennessee. And he never recovered from that. And he was like in his 20s. He tried a couple other businesses. They just never took off. And so when you're looking at stuff like this in the market, you got to remember this stuff really impacts people's lives. When we see what's happening with GameStop, people are going out of business. Individual traders are getting crushed. Hedge funds are getting crushed. You know, there's a lot of money at stake, and people's lives can be changed forever based off of what happens when you're doing the markets. So, you know, Clarence knew that there was a lot of risk. He knew that, okay? But he still did it anyways because he wanted to win. And, you know, that's how trading is. And so there's another, a lot of this was also covered on a Reddit forum called Wall Street Bets, okay? And I'm right here right now, Wall Street Bets, and these guys are actually kind of the masterminds behind this. These guys got GameStop on the map, and they didn't have enough money to really make this happen, but there was enough of them to push it. But then once what they did started to become known, then the big boys got involved, okay? And so once the big boys got involved, the hedge funds, then it became a thing, and then it got on the news, and now it is what it is, and we're seeing this everywhere, okay? And so right now, this particular poster, and I don't follow this, I might actually start, because I think one thing that would be cool is if we, you know, I have a Dream Trades members where we do research in a community. It'd be cool if we had our own private community where we talked about stuff like this. So if you guys would be interested in something like that, let me know. But this guy is talking about Melvin Capital, which has about 13 billion. They were supposed to be in on this, and you know, they came out and said that they covered the short. There's still a lot of shorts involved. He's suggesting that this thing could pop up to $5,000, and that's not unheard of, actually. Let's go ahead, and if we go back to this other article, it keeps talking. There was a short squeeze that happened back in 2008, 2009 on Volkswagen, and you can see the price got up to $1,000. So 5,000 is a lot, but this kind of stuff does happen. And look what happened here with Volkswagen, right? It's went up to 1,000, and then it went back down, and now it's normal prices. And I'm assuming that's what's going to happen with GameStop, right? And so this guy, you can take a look at it. I'm not going to go over it, but he says that he thinks it could go over $5,000 because there's still a lot of shorts that need to be broken. And if the shorts get broken, then it can pop. When the bubble bursts, see, this is an opposite of a bubble. When you think of a bubble popping, right, you think of it crashing. But in this case, when the shorts bubble pops, it's going to rock up, right? It's a reverse because a short is a reverse. So it's going to, when that short bubble pops, it's going to be lots of billions of dollars flowing in because they're going to have to cover those shorts. They have to buy them back. So that's buying pressure into the market, and they're going to be buying at insane prices. And this is a little different than a pump and dump. And maybe we could talk about that in a little bit later. But it's similar, but it's a little bit different because a pump and dump is usually trash. It's a trash company. GameStop's not really trash. GameStop's actually a great company. They make a lot of money. A lot of the pump and dumps are something, you know, some crappy company that doesn't make any money, and they say they just invented the new Mars spaceship, but we haven't actually created it yet. And the share's trading for like 2 cents, and they pump it to like 5, right? And then they bail. That's more of a pump and dump. So, anyways, just keep your eyes on it. And so, one of the things I want to talk about also is AMC, because AMC they're talking about making this the next target, and it has already happened. We missed it, actually. I should have talked about this earlier, but AMC just jumped from $4 up to 20, the same kind of thing. But again, AMC is a company that's not total trash. They got themselves in a lot of trouble with COVID because of not being able to show movies, but they're a really solid company, and you can see the exact same things happening here. So I'm not going to trade this. It's just too wild for me, for my taste. I might buy some puts right? Like long-term, 6-month puts or something, because I think that in that amount of time, it'll come back to earth. With GameStop and AMC. AMC is just getting started, but with GameStop, you could buy some puts, and I think it would probably drop. I don't know what the price is on them. They might be really expensive. I haven't even looked at them. Because volatility is all the volume and the movement in the market. It causes options to go up a lot in value. And so when that happens, the volatility could cause the market the options to be very, very expensive. So for the most part, I'm just going to stay out of this. I personally like to add risk, but not this much risk. It's just too much for me. What I would like to do is find this on the front end, get in here early. This was actually a great trade right here, in my opinion, because it broke this 50-period moving average. It broke the trend line. Okay, we got a nice trend line moving down, right? And it broke 2 days ago. And this wasn't, I'll be honest, this wasn't on my radar. So if you guys can help me out and make our channel better, give me some updates, and I'm going to work on some ways to scan for this stuff a little better. But if I would have seen this on Monday, I might have considered it. Actually, definitely something I would have considered. Because I think it's a pretty good setup. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go back. I'm going to actually mention the giveaway again, because I want to make sure everybody has time to get in. I'm going to post the links here, copy link address. I'm going to post it in the chat, Facebook, and I'm going to do the same thing on Twitter. I want to get you guys a chance to enter in here and enter in on the giveaway, because it's a pretty good product, and you guys get 3 months of it. And I'm going to do a giveaway of our stock product too. So next week will be stock. This week is Forex. I know I get a mix of stock and Forex traders here as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Forex side of things. I'm going to actually leave a comment here. You can just click that link, leave a comment. Right now, there's only one person to enter, so there's only one person that's going to get featured here. Let's see if there's more on the Twitter side. So if you want a free product, you got to answer a question. If you want to get in on this giveaway, it's really valuable. Go ahead and do it. So yeah. Oh, there's 2 on Facebook. So right now, your odds of winning are great. So just take the time to write in a comment. All right. So I just did that. That's all you got to do, guys. That's all you got to do. All right. So back to some charts. So let's go ahead and take a look at Fubo again. We're on Fubo here, and the thing spiked up really nice. I actually haven't been watching it, but it was 53. Wow, $53. $53. That's almost to my target, because my target's right up here. So getting up there. What I don't want to happen is what happened on my Euro trade, and be $10 away and end up taking a loss. So if we could get this up to here, 64 is really what I'd like to see. Right now it's pushing back pretty hard. Let's look at a lower time frame, but it really spiked up. I think that this thing's got a lot of action, and I think as it drops, I think we'll get more buyers again. I think accumulation's happening. I think this is going to be a good one. Let's take a look at the FNKO as well. FNKO, it's up a little bit, but not a lot of price action today, and it's been kind of slow, but I'm really confident in this one too. You know, this is something that I'm willing to hold. Both of these I'm willing to hold for a while. I'm not in any big hurry. I planned myself out to be able to try to take two months at a time, 2 months at a time per trade. And so, you know, that is what it is. So All right. So again, let's go back now and see what the currency side is doing real quick. And my pound New Zealand, yay, I'm making some money. I got to get my target. My target is going to be up here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to eventually, hopefully I can win this one, get a little bit back into the game. And I'm going to monitor this trade. I like what I see so far. The momentum's looking good. It just crossed over on the MACD. Pretty solid setup. All right. Now, here we go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you guys some more time. Please make sure you enter the giveaway, and I'm going to announce it here at the end, at the top of the hour. So you got 9 minutes. And one other thing I wanted to talk about today is, just maintaining that good mindset. And I know people get, they don't like to talk about mindset that much. And I think it's really important because especially right now with COVID, it's so important to maintain a positive mindset. I was at a meeting yesterday, and the very first thing that the meeting host said was, hey, tell me something that you're celebrating right now, right? And I was like, oh man, it took me a minute to think of something, right? Like, oh, I'm celebrating. I got a great YouTube following and we're doing some cool stuff here. I'm celebrating that. I got a great family. My kids are healthy. I'm healthy. Life is good. I got lots to be thankful for. But it's not just being thankful, but it's celebrating stuff, like actually taking time to say, yes, this is really good, and not focusing on all the bad stuff because it can easily drag you down. If you focus on that bad stuff, you get drawn down. And I get burnt out sometimes because I'm working day in and day out and I'm trying to do the grind. I mean, I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but I'm taking the kids to school, making dinner, doing all that stuff that, day in and day out. And sometimes it gets me down. Like even this morning, I'll be honest, I got 9 kids, and you're like, well, man, you deserve it. You got 9 kids, but there's a big upside to that. But, just getting the kids to school today was rough, man. It was like they didn't want to move. It's like they were like, my one son's calling school prison. And, that's probably, he's like, no, I'm not going to prison today. And it's probably my fault because I kind of looked at school as prison myself. I wasn't a big fan of it. And so I share that opinion with the kids. And so, but anyways, that could have got me down a little bit, right? I could have been like, oh man, I don't want to go today. It works. But I got to get myself pumped up. And how do I do that? I celebrate the wins. I'm thankful. The grind is rough, but why do I do what I do? Somebody told me, actually it was my pastor on church on Sunday, said, change your words and change your life, right? Change your words, change your life. And, watch the words that come out of your mouth because words create things. You build things with words. And, if you're negative and you're critical and you're picking on stuff and you're focusing on the negative things, you're only tearing things down. You're not building things up. And I want to be someone that is building stuff up. So be thinking about your celebrations. What are you celebrating right now? What's going good? What's going great? And let us know about those things because it's really cool. I'm just laughing at Timon's comment. He says, it could always get worse. Here, schools are closed. Imagine having homeschooled 9 kids. Well, you know what? We've been off and on this year. And anytime I can celebrate sending them to school. Because they don't want to go to school, but then when they're stuck at home, they don't like that either. So they don't realize that they haven't really learned to look at the benefits. I'm trying to teach them that. They don't realize that getting out, doing stuff, it's a real blessing to be able to do that. All right. So we're going to do the giveaway here in about 5 more minutes. But right now, I'm going to jump back over and look at some more trades here. Euro dollar is dropping. It broke below that moving average here. And so I think that's an opportunity to watch this level. I'm not going to take it, but I'm going to be watching this level. And as before, if my pound New Zealand trade continues to move up to a certain level, I will then lock in the profit. I'll lock in profit, and that will open me up to take another trade. So once I get something locked in, I can now take an additional trade, which could accelerate my gains if I don't do something stupid. Ben just came out with a great comment. Ben, that's a great comment, man. I really like that. First change your thoughts, then your words, then your actions. You know what? Man, that got me off my analysis. When your thoughts actually are the things that create. Your words create, but your thoughts is the beginning thing. Everything starts with an idea. It starts with a thought. And so that's really the creating thing. So yes, take some time. Think about your life. Think about what you want to do. Think about what you want to accomplish. Think about the things that you want to change, right? And just think about those things on a regular basis. I take time to do that. I purposely do that on a regular basis. I build it into my schedule. And otherwise, I would crash and burn, because when you're building stuff, like I'm building a lot of things in my life. I'm trading. I'm building a business. I'm running a family. I'm doing volunteer activities. I'm doing a lot of things, and building my marriage, making a great marriage. If I'm not doing that, I'd be crashing and burn big time. So thanks for that. Thanks for that, Ben. That was a great comment. So with that being said, let's take a look at this euro again. I like this positioning down here, but I'm not going to trade it until we get a nice bounce. I like this MACD right where it's at. If it goes and turns red, I'll be waiting for it to turn back to the upside. I'm not interested in this until this goes back over. Now, you might be saying, well, what's the difference in the pound New Zealand? Well, because the pound New Zealand was a short trade. Well, because the pound New Zealand is starting to reverse on us, right? It's beginning to start a reversal. We are hitting a new high here, and we hit a new high. See how that high and the lower low, right? And so we're starting to reverse. So I believe that we're at the beginning of a reversal, and I think this is a nice daily candle, really nice daily candle. I think that I got myself a lot of room here. It gives me plenty of room to get back up here. The MACD's turning. I like this one a lot. So that's what I'm looking at. And let's take a look at the Australian USD as well. So let's take a look at that. And one other thing I want you guys to do here is to start sending me these ideas on Twitter, and like for stocks that you want me to look at, or currency pairs, because I'm going to be doing this live trading challenge. But again, I might be holding one stock. I might be holding Fubo for 2 months. And we just can't come in here and talk about Fubo all the time. I want to give you guys other opportunities and show you some other things. So I am going to be taking some requests. So with that being said, I'm going to look at this euro Australian dollar. I'm going to allow you to answer some questions, and then we're going to call it a day. But you stick around for the giveaway. It's going to be in a minute or so. So Australian dollar, same thing. The MACD starting to lower. We're starting to get a breakout here. This level hasn't broken yet, but if it does, I would expect price to get back down to maybe here, and then set up down here, or perhaps down where these red lines are as well. So not really ready for this yet. I would tell you also that we have this level, okay, this level. So if we get a breakout, you notice it's really held firm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the selling pressure is held firm, and it's held firm down here. But if this does break and go up, we might want to look at this on a lower time frame. So you can see on the hourly, we're lower on the MACD. If the MACD does cross over, might be an opportunity for a trade. But one thing I always look at when I'm looking at a MACD crossover is where's the support and resistance, because look, it crossed over. Let's see where it actually crossed over. Right here. It crossed over right here. Okay. This was the official cross. And that didn't give it a lot of room. Only 30 pips. Because why? Because it came right into the trend wall. So 30 pips is a decent. Even that Euro trade I did was up like 60. So 30 pips is decent, especially on the Australian dollar. But I want to try to give it the best possible setup that I can. My best possible setup is going to put me in the best position to accomplish this challenge that I'm on. All right, so I got some questions here. Let's see. Ben is asking about after the New Zealand rally, will you not take profits? I will take profit, absolutely, but I want to take profit up here. That's where I want to take profit, but I'm gonna take profit for sure. This trade today was up nicely. I could have put my stop at break even, but I didn't want to do that. I'd rather let it come back down here and see what happens. There's always an opportunity too for me to try to add to the position as well, because if you look at my free margin, let me remove the follow button. Okay, wait. If you see my free margin, I have $324 of free margin. This allows me to take an additional trade. And so I could add to the position if I really like the setup, which could then help me get to my target sooner if I have another position on. And so that's kind of how I look at that one. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pick the winner right now. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to pull up the Twitter. And I'm going to pull up the Facebook. We got them both right here. I'm going to read them, and you guys will watch me and see. We got 8 comments. Congratulations, guys. Good job. Good job. And we got, looks like 7 on Twitter. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, guys. All right. So let's do Facebook first. All right. So my main reason is to become good at trading because I wanted to be profitable and financially free through my skills and because I love trading. I love that one. That's really good. I've had the trading bug since I first immigrated to the USA almost 30 years ago. I started a trading account with my best friend and we almost wiped out the account and never got back in because of shell shock. My friend is now deceased and I'm doing this in his memory. And since I'm getting close to retirement, I'm trading to have a more secure nest egg. I'm also teaching my son, who's graduating college this spring, to be financial independent. Trapple, that is a great, great story. Trapple, where are you from, man? Or woman? Where are you from? That's really good. Dick, there's a great value in learning a complicated skill from a seasoned pro. The capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. Oh my goodness. You know what? This is good stuff. I'm like, wow. I'm impressed. You guys have impressed me. You've impressed me a lot. Wow. So I'm going to actually post some of these. It's going to be hard. This is going to be hard to pick. So Dinesh said, I'm going to put this up on the screen here. Most of the people trade just to earn money and not to lose money. It's this mindset which have devastating effects on their trading career. I trade because it challenges me and my skill set, and trading is an ocean in which I love swimming. You know, Dinesh, I like that comment a lot, and I want to thank you for posting it. And because I think that the money is really, people get caught up on that, right? If you just get caught up on becoming great at what you do, the money will follow. In business, I take a lot of business training because I run a business, a trading business as well as trade. So I take trading, and business training. Take a lot of training because I'm like Dinesh. I like to educate myself. I'm like Dick. I like to educate myself. The best investment is self-investment. This is really good. There's something called a leading and lagging indicator. And that is in the markets, but also in business. Like a leading indicator would be, building great content that's going viral. The lagging indicator is the amount of revenue you create that content with. And so with the leading indicator, it means you have to do some prep work and some foundation. So if you're doing the foundation of building yourself up, right, it's a solid foundation. If you do the work to give yourself the knowledge and the self-discipline and the education, you're building a solid foundation that will last forever, right? And especially working on this mindset. And you don't give up, because, our good friend here just said that he's been doing this for 30 years. I want to post his comment because it was so good. This is so good. This is so good. 30 years ago, right? Look, I know that if you see this and you see that it's going to take 30 years and you're like, oh man, I can't do that. I'm 70. Well, you know what? It's never too late to start, for one. And for number two, you might not have trading experience at 70, but you could accelerate your process because you have other experience to draw off of. If you're at 70 and you have life experience, you can draw off a deep well. There's a lot there. You just got to find it and draw it out. You got to draw out. There's a lot there to work with. And I really want to commend you guys. This is about building a foundation, a skill set that will last a lifetime. And the end result of that skill set is going to be financial reward. But too many people just go after the financial reward and they forget that this is really a process of building you up as a person and building up your own training and your own skill set. So good stuff, man. I'm in big problem here. I got a big problem because there's so many good answers. Okay. My name's Herbert. I'm going to actually put his comment here. And he puts his email in there, but so that means it's public. But he left it in there, so let's read what Herbert had to say. My name's Herbert, and to answer your question, I want to be a Rockefeller family. And what I mean by that is I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave something behind for your family. And I think that's really important too. So that's a great question. And I didn't realize it was going to take this long to do the giveaway, but I'm actually being moved and touched. And this is feeding my soul right now. And that's going to help me be a healthy person. This is feeding my soul. So thank you guys. The whole comment didn't show up. I'll have to post the second part. I'll read the second part. I want to leave a legacy, something behind for my family that my grandparents did leave for me. In certain families, you can name your great-great-grandparents because they left something behind for them. In my family, I can't name a great-great-great-grandfather because they didn't leave anything of value. Yes, I want to travel to Rome, in Europe, and Hawaii like everyone else. Yeah, leaving a legacy is really good. One thing I want to say about that, though, the legacy that I want to leave, and I'm not correcting your statement at all. I think it's awesome. I commend you. I'm just telling you how I differ. The legacy that I want to leave is not financial, at least with my children. It's teaching them something, and it's a relational legacy. It's a legacy of knowing their dad and just having that solid relationship and knowing that I taught them something. With my kids, I get them down here, and when they make money, they are automatically taking 30% of whatever I give them because they do a job. I pay them. I'm not giving them the money. They're earning it. So number one, learning the value of earning. Then number two, I want to teach them how to manage their money. Don't go buy all your money on Funko Pops, right? Like every other kid, but instead take 30% of that and invest it in the market. And so with my 14-year-old, we study the market, and he's investing right now with the money. And he takes 30% out of everything. I'm like, look, I look at my kids as future millionaires, not because of money that I'm going to give them, but because I'm going to teach them how to handle their money and to use that money to create wealth. Because money is just a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool, and it's a tool that I am trying to learn well in trading, in business, in my own personal finances, and everything. I'm trying to learn trading. Okay, so good stuff. I'm gonna two more here that we're gonna post, and if you guys are enjoying this, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Subscribe and click notifications so you get notified on the next giveaway, because I'm going to be doing prizes every Wednesday. Remember that. Every Wednesday I'm going to be doing prizes, and some of it is going to be, as it goes on, I'm going to do different stuff. I'm going to do stock stuff. I'm going to do merch account stuff like shirts and things. I'm even going to probably do some cash things as time goes on. So, you know, if you guys help me by subscribing, notifying, this is going to get bigger and better. Okay, so Malcolm, to be able to generate income without relying on formal employment and to help my relatives and friends do the same. Yeah, teaching and training is a really big one, and formal employment. You know, I've got into this primarily because I lost my job. I was trading as a very young man because my dad needed some help on the computer, and he wanted me to help him with the stocks. And then I learned about stocks through him. And I opened up my first account in 1998, was my first trading account. And so that was pretty cool. But I didn't actually get into this seriously until I lost my job. Okay, last one for this. And I'll just read it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I know you want to know about the markets, but to me, we already went over the market review, and it hasn't changed that much. It goes up, it goes down. I'll check it at the end of the day. I'm holding the stock for six months. So the main reason, Connie, my main reason to become profitable is had a better life, spend more time with my wife and family, and start planning for kids. I don't care if I make millions, just enough to live off and not having to work 9-hour days. Well, Connie, start with your planning. Take time. Remember, it starts with a thought, then it becomes words, and then it becomes actions. Celebrate the little wins and just keep on going. You can do this, and you know, start now. Start now. Start spending. Our main responsibility, my main responsibility, is to work and take care of my family. But I also always will cut work a little short sometimes to make sure that I can spend time with them, because time is the greatest gift of all, and you don't get it back, right? And so your kids would rather have time with you than they would have some money, and I'll tell you that right now. They might not say it, but it's the truth. All right, well, with that being said, I'm not going to read all the ones on Twitter, but I am going to read them myself. They're pretty good here as well. We got some good ones. I am going to pick. You guys, thank you so much. These are all so good. I'm going to pick Troppel Tracy. Troppel, congratulations. You won the prize. We will be reaching out to you for this. We're reaching out to Troppel. Thank you so much. Make sure, I'm going to go over the stocks one more time, but make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the notification. And I want to see if we can get a like on this video too. But right now, my Fubo trade is up $13,000. And if we look at the title of this video, the title of this live stream is 8,000. So I've actually made $5,000 more just since I posted that. So that's really cool. But now the tricky part is going to be, it doesn't count until you close the trade, right? The tricky part is it won't count until that trade is closed. So I got to close it. with money, right? That's the secret. That's the secret. So we're on our way up. It's looking good. I'm going to keep holding and keeping you guys updated. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys very soon. Have a great day and find some things to be thankful for and celebrate. And we will see you guys on the next episode.